10 on the left shoulder.
Something like that.
What you said, I'm gonna put it on the match roll.
Andy, did you say, or Hank?
I get it now. All right.
Okay, I have 4 jobs.
Oh, come on.
Thank you, guys. Oh, we got what we talked about doing is after we discussed the nuisance ordinance, was have a little bit of conversation with the planning board about where to go to from here, or the other things we want them to address. And I know we've had, again, as we mentioned earlier, we've had to review several ordinances on the books. I think we've done a great job with that. Gentlemen, any thoughts? I'll just open this up for discussion. Either way, if you guys have anything to say or what we do, I know Commissioner Tate had a couple of thoughts he shared with me privately. Jim, I don't know if you want to mention that.
Sure. Well, I talked to Matt about that earlier, that telecommunications ordinance. There's a couple of things that needed to be changed. We had recent changes from local, federal, and state level. But I think we need to bring our ordinance up to speed with that, so that would be a topic. I think there's also been some discussion about our schools, and in particular the high school, about potentially studying whether or not we need a new campus, or whether we're benefiting well enough as a county from the present high school campus. I think telecommunications ordinance is a must. I think the school issue is probably something we can discuss as commissioners and council. Those are the 2 items that I think the other, one of the other topics coming up. Well, we know what you're doing 6 months from now, but the high impact ordinance as well. President, I think telecommunications now we discussed that.
The suggestion I'd have for the planning board is to have somebody from the planning board, either Matt or Chairman or any member of the planning board, get more involved in our transportation issue. As you know, everything now is on a point system. I represent the district as RVO, the Rural Planning Organization, and that's what anything you get from the DOT now goes through that. So it needs to be more involved in like we borrow points. I mean, you can't make up what they've done with the transportation system. We have no secondary road money in Macon County or anywhere in the county. I think the planning board could really be of use in the transportation area. That's a big thing in our county for a lot of reasons. We're now working, we finally got approved to try, we hope, to fix the area from the red light. Everybody knows where you turn to Siler Road, it's red light, where McDonald's, from there to White Horizon Drive. Another terrible accident our Friday. We were here in Raleigh, we put things on the board, we showed them, it's on the agenda to fix that. There's not another place in the world that you'll see one of those best roads. There's a lot of other things in Macon County as far as transportation goes so I would encourage you to start learning the process by coming to those meetings, and Chairman Corbin is also for our COGS. He is the chairman of that, so he's really involved, and I think Kevin would agree that the transportation issues, and I think our planning board needs to be involved in that too. On 441 South, John can speak to it. Traffic on 441 South, the condition of 441 South. Driving up and down that road, get nothing to go there. And I have a Chevrolet on 4, so it's really
you need to get a Ford to ride to better.
no, I couldn't ride it, they push me. And so but the transportation issues, it's not about replacing bridges, yes. It's infrastructure important, but it's about the arteries that come into Macon County and where we want to put them. And I'd like to see our planning board be more involved in that process, not just what we know or what somebody brings to me or brings to you, Mr. Chairman or Paul, but to have it and say, well, is this where you really want to spend? We have a point system. And we can sit down sometime when you have a lot of time and got nothing to do and try to explain that to you. But it's something I think the planning board would certainly be useful for and be useful for in the future.
That might be good for maybe one or two of you guys to get involved when we have those regional meetings. We should see the council of government is the county commissioners, mayors, and aldermen of all the 7 western counties. And so now I got roped into being chairman of that for this 2-year period, so I'm very involved in it. And Commissioner Bill's on the transportation committee. So if Matt, we want to go.
And we'll bring some DOT officials, for the Mr. Green, Mr. Grindstaff, whoever, Mr. Totta, whoever we need to bring you up to speed. I think that would be very useful.
I've had a couple of things I've written down, the high impact ordinance and telecommunications ordinance. I think maybe review that telecommunications ordinance would be maybe a high priority, since maybe we have some things in there that need to be changed. Commissioner Tate, that would not just understand.
So systems, laws, exchange that we need to actually update and revisit some language issues.
We will start with that, and we mentioned the high impact ordinance. Is that something that you haven't reviewed that, right? You haven't. That's probably one that does need to be revisited, because there's a couple of things I recall in the past that people couldn't do that I didn't think made sense. So to me, it didn't make common sense. I think there's some regulations that goes a little too far. That was my opinion. So can we start with those two things? Got a good high impact. If you want to go to Raceway, your community, you got to.
Is this our work session with the planning board? You know, we planned it at some time previously. And we had
We're going to mail you. Talk with the mayor. You got to talk with him sometime.
We got some brilliant, varied backgrounds on this planning board. You look around, these are successful business people from all walks of life. And you know, what affects most people in Macon County? What impediments are there to the small business community in Macon County? Are there, you know, I mean, we can spend a lot of time, and I know y'all spend a lot of time on ordinances, and I don't know if that's what you're charged with doing, is just reviewing, submitting, proposing ordinances or what. But what affects most people in Macon County, this thing we deal with tonight, it affects a very small percentage of people. Yes, it's tragic, sad thing. But what affects a greater percentage of people in Macon County? The economy, I don't know if you want to get into those realms or not. But what impediments are there to small businesses? Is it fees, regulations, rules? Is it something that this board could change? And this is a broad target. I don't know how I need to start coming to the planning board maybe and suggesting just throwing out some influence. But a simple thing is like fees for building, for environmental health, for sewer inspections. Are those fees hampering our economy? These resident people here, what could we do in the realm of the economy in Macon County? And could this board help or change anything? I don't know what the answer is, but
slow internet. We need faster internet because it affects everything that comes and goes into Macon County, and we've lost a lot of business because of the internet speeds outside the city limits or in the city limits.
is somebody working on that, Peggy?
Not that I can find.
Hey, you're a business person, you've been here for... Are there other issues that we need to be addressing that might, you know, lend a positive edge to the economy or the small business? I'm just throwing this up in the air. Kick it out of the...
I hear you say that you're like the planning board themselves to have a discussion about are there issues out there that need to be addressed that are affecting business in a negative way?
We need to highlight.
Yeah.
I think that's a broad topic. There's several other boards that report to this board that address those issues also. And I think there needs to
If the
be,
sewer thing's too high, let the health board bring it to us.
well,
That
there's
makes
an economic development problem, and where's the EDC? I think there needs to be some more communication maybe between all these boards and a clear understanding of what the left hand's doing on the right.
Get all these boards together. You know, what is the greatest issues facing us as residents of Macon County and as business people? Y'all are business people. You know what impeaches y'all. You know what. Is there anything we can do? I don't have the answers. Don't even have the questions. Rather than spending a lot of time trying to come up with an ordinance, you know, I mean, yeah, we need some ordinances, but I think we've got greater issues.
And I would agree, talking about that, just to be clear, if we pass this nuisance ordinance, or if we don't vote at least one more time, it will only be the second ordinance we've passed since I've been on this board 4 years, and we've reduced more regulation than we've added. Correct. And I think, I'm not going to dig up old bones, but I think one of the problems we had, and I'm just going to say it, I think that in the past, the planning board was just said, okay, you guys, whatever ordinances you want to come up with, and some ordinances came back to the board that the board didn't pass. So the direction is still from us, because there's no reason to just tell them, well, y'all just go think about everything and come back to us with some ordinances. That happened with the slow ordinance, I'm just going to say it. And what? Yeah, and then the board didn't pass it, so we wasted a lot of time in doing that. So I think if we have specific things we want them to know, we don't need to just say, you guys go think up some ordinances. I'm told there's nobody for that. Anybody for that? So I think that in reviewing these ordinances, we've actually reduced the amount of regulation on folks. I'm not for just going out and thinking of regulations. Are you, Chris?
And if y'all have ideas, bring them to us. And the planning board, Chris, if Matt, if you have other things that need to be, I mean, like Paul said, there's some great people on that board, bring them to us.
The things that the board has mentioned, we've talked about corridor protection or development on corridor, which would involve DOT, transportation interaction of those two. We've talked about dark sky type ordinance, lighting. This is more of the regulation, I think, Paul. We talked about the fire department and the knock box. I think Setzer brought up, was it a knock box? Is that what it was called? It was for, I guess, public safety. That's related to. The sign ordinance has come up. And there's a few things that we've talked about as a board. Yeah, I think ultimately we're looking for some direction from y'all.
How many communities do you have controls?
There's a list of about 30 of them on the county website.
What I was trying to find, somebody had out here, trying to bring the heads of these communities together and see what our problems are. And then I think that gives us some direction. I think we're looking at you right now and trying to know where you're coming from. Where's the EDC coming from? But I don't know who to get together. I don't know. You want a new person on board. But it seemed like there needs to be a congregation meeting here to discuss this. What do we need to do about the county, what regulations and those type of things. There's powers to be out there somewhere that has some information that we can all share with each other and come to the planning division with a direction. Whether it be the technology or internet or what it may be, there's needs to be talking.
Peggy certainly has a great idea about the problem. I mean, that's the problem in Raleigh, that has to go through Raleigh. And they can't get out of committee because the telecommunications people are suing each other over. You got this side that supports and this side that don't. So if they get their act together, then that would help us more than anything. Grand County made a wonderful appeal to them. So, a lot of those things are out of the county's control, especially telecommunications.
I think a lot of it is that locally it's split in so many different directions. Because in the city limits, you have a very low speed, but you can go to Otto and you can get 9. Don't make no sense, 10 miles per hour.
Sure. That's what needs to be worked on.
Dr. Baldwin, would you have a problem if we address that down the road, or do you think your board would? That's just something that's been mentioned in this, what we told out of the air about the school situation in high school.
That's another group. We talked about Paul and the chairman. bringing people away, bringing people together, and we'll talk about the different issues from the sheriff people to the let's talk.
We start off by having, now this is a lot of meetings that we're sort of used to, but somebody from the planning board can come to a couple of our liaison meetings, sort of get the gist of the communication level between us and the school board. They have 2 representatives, we have 2 representatives. County manager's always there, our finance director's there, Chris is there, with his folks, with his finance folks, that, so that would be let's talk about how to get these folks together. That'd be a good start, not have to tie the whole forward time.
And then part of that, we don't want to get too much stuff on
I mean, all those big ticket items,
They are.
It takes a lot of time for each one of them.
But I'll go back and I'll agree with something that Paul said. I think we don't need just to say, we need to clarify what you guys are about and what that is. The planning board, that's very broad. Planning, does that mean planning reducing or increasing regulation? It certainly could. Does it mean doing some planning and talking to different groups? Does it make sense to build a new high school? It certainly could. So it's a very broad area. I think what we need to do is give them some specific direction for now. And I think you got a couple of topics being that Paul's suggestion about that we have ordinances that are hinder business and things like that. I think that could be a discussion you guys have. And as part of your general discussion, you have to wrong with that. Two specifics that come out of that. I hear you. I think I hear say the high impact and telecommunications ordinance is something we should have a review.
Now, is that fair to information on that?
I think it's a consensus of I think if it comes up to Mr. Shields, he's the lead on it. Gary, would you be?
Well, those 2 are a good start. I still think we everything open to
And they think to work on good, they work on one day at a time.
Now, the school thing, maybe Rodney had a good suggestion if Matt or Chris, if maybe one of y'all could write to Gary, because that didn't know if you had your liaison meetings, maybe involve
Mr.
some of you guys in there.
Mike Decker will certainly let you know, and let Matt know, and you can let the board, and whoever, it's an open meeting. I mean, he can come, and if they hang on the transportation, we can put that together, this corridor thing's a big, and why is 441 in shape? If the planning board put their, it's more than just me speaking, even though I'm a commissioner at the RPO meeting, or Kevin speaking, or whoever. But if the planning board of the county, I mean, it has a lot more, it carries more weight in a lot of the decisions to that. So, and they will pay attention to that. So, I mean, these things, the planning board can be very effective. So we depend on it for a lot. And that's just, it pays good. Some of them don't even want you to eat.
Anything from you guys you want to say?
Why don't you just leave it back and talk about it?
I personally would like to think telecommunication would be relatively quick. The high impact could affect businesses. Probably need an overview.
We've never had a problem with that.
No, it's always, the 441 corridor, if we don't get it right this time, it'll be 30 years before we go that.
We got an opportunity, we got a window to fix it.
And we need to fix it, because a lot of problems in our bodies in our way.
We got a window open, so let's get through it if we can.
Anything else? Yeah.
I don't serve on the planning board, but I'm the planning and development commission director. This is a great bunch of people we have working for you here. They can absolutely disagree to the 10th degree, but not be disagreeable about it. And they can tackle any issue that you give them. What I observe is that there is a vacuum of communication. Chris touched on it, Mr. Shields touched on it. There's actually, Chris, there's 41 advisory boards listed on the web page. And to ask the planning board to develop a new telecommunication ordinance without knowing what the emergency management is doing, what the transportation is doing, what the EDC is doing, would be difficult. They need all this information to make an informed decision. They are your advisory, they advise you the direction to take. So I think there needs to be developed some process to distribute this information, whether it's in person, emails, minutes, somehow. I don't have the answer, just a question. But I think that would be a good direction to look in. Maybe that'd be something for the planning board to consider. How the best way to address that.
But at the end of the day, Jack, it's always seemed that no matter what it is, and they gather information, it always funnels back to this board.
It does.
This is where it comes to roost at, it's the planning board. They have to carry the load.
Yeah, there's not a specific board like the health board.
That's right.
They're the planning board.
That was my point a minute ago, maybe I didn't repeat that well, but what I meant to say was this, it's very broad, what this board is, not like they're, as you say, like recommendation. Yeah, it involves a lot of things, so I think a lot of that, Jack, falls back to you guys, or us giving you the freedom rather to gather the information, and feel free to call Tommy Jenkins, feel free to call and involve Warren for these kind of things. And again, as Ronnie said, these things will funnel back to you guys. Good point. Anything else? So telecommunications, high impact, and then some general discussion about the education, the high school issues. We'll see where that goes. I think we need to have some more specific discussion before we actually get into planning on that. And then I certainly have no objection to discussion about, Paul mentioned about the, we have the ordinances for Henry business or whatever. I come back to the high impact ordinance, and there may be something there. That'd be it, guys. Come back. Chris, anything else? We'll head it off, though.
I just appreciate all the work these people do every month. I think January we met 3 times to try to get this done, so it's much appreciated for that. Thanks.
Thank you, planning board.
You got a stake, but you got a pen.
Yeah.
We'll where it's right.
Thank you, guys. We're going to take about a 10-minute recess. Richard Shields had 2 things of water.
He's a senior member, too.